I went upstairs and I went into the laundry room. I saw a teeny tiny woman and her 3 children. I got that she was married since she was about 14. She died young, I'd say between 28 and 29 years of age. Extremely protective of her children, who are very rambunctious. These kids like to hang out in that little, like, crawl space attic thing upstairs. You should hear laughing, running around, things bouncing off the walls.
Bradley's had experiences with that crawl space, right?
Several different things. He's seen a little girl up there. He describes her as, what do you say, 11?
A bunch of stuff you're talking about reminds me of some past owners that actually lived in this house, especially the part about the woman. Now, a family that named the Passengers lived in this house from 1956 to 73. Now, the expert I talked to said that this family had bad luck before they moved here and bad luck after they got into the house. They had a teenage son named Andrew who was a mess and got into a lot of trouble. And later on, he married a girl named Elaine Dyers in 1942. And now, I say girl because she was 15 years old. So now Andrew and Elaine wind up having 3 kids. A few years later, Elaine got very sick. She died a few years later in 1956. And get this, just like you said, she was 28 years old when she died.
Interesting.
All right, so what else did you say?
The next person that I ran into, he was a teenage boy, and he is a big problem here. He definitely somehow connected to the land. He's pretty powerful and very present, very upset and angry. I think there's a few ways that the living would experience him. He's very noisy. So one of the things I thought he might be capable of doing is turning on the televisions, turning on the radios, and getting them to go up as loud as he possibly can. Also, he's a klepto. Things might go missing, and there is a lot of stress and anger with him. At this point, he wants you guys gone. He does not want you in this house.
Well, I think you might have seen the look on their face when you mentioned stuff going missing.
I'd be sitting there, I'd set my keys down, and I'd be doing my makeup or my hair or something, turn around to grab them to put them back in my purse, and they'd be gone. I'd look everywhere for them, couldn't find them. 15, 20 minutes later, they're right back in the same spot.
Amy, you also mentioned this kid could turn on radios. Now, Tim, you guys had a stereo that just went on, right?
Yes.
Tell Amy about it.
All of a sudden, my daughter's radio, which was unplugged, turned on, and it was as loud as it could go.
And where were the kids?
They weren't home.
He's starting to become more physical. I saw him standing at the end of the bed and actually lifting the bed and making it shake. I had a sketch done of what I saw.
Kind of creepy.
That's exactly what it looked like. That was my nightmare a couple months ago. He was holding me down in the bed from behind.
Now, this stuff is in your dream.
It might not be a dream. So he could be actually holding her down and doing that and having physical contact with her.
I wake up with bruises on my legs a lot.
You guys told me Phoebe's woken up with marks, too.
Phoebe, she had a dream, and she talking about the snake in her dream that bit her.
This is Phoebe's neck, and it looks like bite
A
marks.
bite.
Can't stop shaking.
When I was in the bedroom, I got that someone was experiencing a lot of unhappiness. The person is feeling extremely unsettled, honestly hating their life. So these negative emotions have attracted this entity that I was referring to as the drip. It's never been human. And when I first encountered it, it came down and it's all black and shiny. And what you see is your face. This thing forces people to look at themselves and to look at their darkest truths about their lives. It makes you kind of focus on things that you've done that you're not particularly proud of. If you don't, you can kind of go crazy. It makes the person who's going through this kind of emotionally unstable, constantly ill. And it can trigger things like PTSD events. So it can kind of make you have a little bit of a breakdown. The dead here are terrified of this thing. One of you or both of you have attracted it and they are pissed off and they don't want to deal with it, and so they need you out of here.
Now listen, I told you these two are having problems with their marriage. You know what, Tim, tell her about these voices you're hearing.
After my wife had her heart attack,
What?
after she came home, every once in a while I'd hear a voice in my head say, "You don't love your wife." It was just repeated, repeated, repeated. "You don't love your wife, you need to leave," every night.
We were like best friends. We don't have so much as a date night. We don't talk that much. We fight like it's World War III.
She thinks you want out of here. You want a book. I mean, tell her what you really feel.
I love you. I want to be here for the rest of my life. I don't want to go anywhere. I made a commitment to be in this family, and I love you, and that's never going to change.
You guys probably haven't kissed and hugged like that in how long?
Too long.
I haven't really even full-fledged cried since my heart attack.
How long ago was this event?
A year ago.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned the drip that's being attracted by somebody here. Is it one of them or is it both of them?
Taking into consideration your health and the mind frame, it could have been initially attracted to you.
What else we got going on?
This land is inherently contaminated. Bad things tend to happen here. If somebody is living here who's prone to violent outbursts, depression, those types of experiences would become far more frequent here.
Now, this could be a shot in the dark, but there is a reason that this land could be bad. Settlers, when they first came here in the 1800s, they discovered a massive Indian burial mound literally a couple thousand feet from the house.
Oh.
But in 1825, people started digging it up. Now, what I thought was strange is they grabbed these bones and they put them on display for the museums in the area. I actually got a photo on how they did it. Do you think any of this could be why the land is bad here?
No, this one's a little different. The reason why the land is a huge, huge problem is because this very active dead woman placed a curse on the land. I got that this dead woman was around during the late 1600s. During that time, people decided that this woman was a witch. And so they took her and they burned her. She's extremely solid and powerful. She says now that she has to hunt. And I feel she's doing it because she's angry and she wants revenge. She'll try to make your life as miserable as she can.